from Chicago and the Philippines. A comprehensive review of the week's special community events, featuring many exciting personalities, handled by the most professional Chicago Philippine Reports TV staff.
Good afternoon and welcome to Chicago Philippine Reports TV, still the #1 in all the Filipino shows in the Midwest. And I'm Joe Mauricio. Today we have all the top stories from Chicago and the Philippines. We also have our segment host, Veronica, interesting interviews with Melody Rabor Dizon, our Health Matters host, and Joe Mauricio, myself. And I would like to introduce to you Janet Jordy, our new host from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, introducing her Global Inspirations interviews. We also have happening within our own Filipino community here in Chicago. All these are coming up and more from our sponsors. Please stay with us.
A destructive storm. That's how the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council describes Typhoon Rolly, which is expected to make landfall over the province of Aurora or Quezon on Sunday evening or early Monday morning. Civil Defense Director Ricardo Halad warns the public against underestimating the impact of the typhoon, which is expected to directly hit the island of Luzon with winds from 171 to 220 kilometers per hour.
Magdadala ito ng malakas na ulan, heavy to intense rain ang daladala nito. So, posible yung pagbaha at saka pagguho ng lupa.
The U.S. Joint Typhoon Warning Center now classifies Rolly as a Category 5 super typhoon, while Japan's meteorological agency forecasts a violent intensity for the weather disturbance. But Halad says Rolly is unlikely to be classified as a super typhoon based on Philippine standards.
Naipaliwanag naman yan ng pag-asa na ang pagkaiba ng forecast ng Hawaii at saka ng pag-asa ay dahil sa magkaiba yung kanilang parameters.
Regardless of classification, many Philippine provinces which are still reeling from the damage caused by Typhoon Kinda last week are preparing again for Rolly's onslaught. In Quezon Province, Governor Danilo Suarez says authorities are ready to deploy search and rescue teams to northern Quezon, where Rolly is expected to hit the hardest. There will also be a fishing ban beginning Saturday in the town of Real. Preemptive evacuations in villages there will be conducted.
Kakaiba ngayon dahil syempre pandemic din po bukod sa bagyo. Kung super typhoon ito, hindi naman pwedeng magsiksikan yung mga tao sa dating bilang.
Typhoon-damaged provinces of Aurora and Batangas are also bracing for the impact of yet another storm.
Andyan yung information education, pagbibigay babala sa ating mga kababayan, maghanda at yung lalo na sa mga coastal areas.
Rolly may trigger a storm surge in some areas. That is why authorities in Oriental Mindoro are not letting their guard down.
Ang ating mga Coast Guard ay activated na rin.
Local government units in Metro Manila, home to 12 million people, are also not taking any chances. Valenzuela City issued an order to stop all ongoing construction as well as roll down billboards. In Manila, rescue boats are on standby in the event of flash floods. State Weather Bureau Pag-asa has warned Typhoon Rolly may prompt the declaration of the strongest storm warning signal in some areas ahead of its potential landfall in the coming days.
More than 80 million Americans have cast ballots in the U.S. election, setting the stage for the highest voter turnout in over a century. With 5 days to go before Election Day, U.S. President Donald Trump and his Democratic challenger Joe Biden held dueling rallies in the crucial state of Florida. Trump went to Tampa, where he vowed never to put the U.S. under lockdown again, despite surging coronavirus cases. The U.S. on Thursday broke its daily record for new cases with over 91,000 infections. Trump also spoke in front of a huge, largely maskless crowd.
We know the disease, we social distance, we do all of the things that you have to do. If you get close, wear a mask. Always controversial. It's not controversial to me.
Biden, who is also in Tampa, called Trump's rally a super spreader as he held a drive-in event.
They're spending more than just coronavirus. He's spreading division and discord.
Biden insisted he would not shut down the U.S. economy, but he would do everything he can to shut down the virus. The Democrat also said if Florida turns blue, it would spell the end for Trump's re-election bid. Florida is a major prize in Tuesday's election with its 29 electoral votes. Trump's victory in the state in 2016 was vital to his surprise election win. Herman Martir, an advisor to Trump's 2020 campaign, believes the Republican will win in this year's race. He claims the American people are tired of typical politicians like Biden.
This guy's been in office for 4 to 7 years and has been lying and lying to the American people, while in the same way also taking money, taking bribes from other countries.
U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, however, is confident Biden will be elected president, adding she already made preparation for his presidency. Biden holds a solid lead over Trump in national polls, but the race is tighter in battleground states, which may decide the winner of the November 3rd election. In Florida, a new Reuters poll showed Trump moving into a tie with Biden.
Via Times, vital news, vibrant views for the Filipino Asian communities in Chicago. Via Times for your most interesting and exciting reading and your party coverages. Via Times has very interesting columnists. You name it, Via Times has it. Law, Filipino news, dentistry, immigration, humor, serious opinions, health, beauty, mysticism, Bata Corner, showbiz, and intelligently written editorials. Call Via Times at 773-866-0811.
Magandang hapon po sa inyo lahat and welcome to Veronica's segment of the show today. I'm really very honored to have a special guest because he is an honorable man. He's none other than Major General Antonio Mario Taguba. And he's a very well-known personality. I've heard him for several occasions that his name was really mentioned, and I'm really honored to meet him today. And Major General Taguba, my goodness, you were born on October 31st. Happy birthday and happy Halloween!
Thank you. That's a secret.
And he is a retired Major General in the United States Army, and he was the second American citizen of Philippine birth to be promoted to general to this military position. Who is the first one, Major?
His name, he's a 3-star general, and his name is Edward Soriano, also born in the Philippines.
Oh, were you born in the Philippines?
Yes, Manila.
Manila. Oh,
I'm an immigrant. I'm a legal citizen.
when you came here. Okay. So you've been a legal citizen. Yeah. I came here too I came here in my 20s, and I'm also legal.
Yeah, very proud of us, right?
Okay, and I love this country. Right now, you're a retired Army official, and you even wrote a book called what's the title of your book? The Taguba.
No, that was not a book, but Veronica, that was a report.
What is the
on torture? That was about, I investigated along with my team the abuse and torture of Iraqi citizens in Iraq. That was in 2004. It was not a well received report because it exposed the illegal policy by the Bush administration of it's illegal to torture and abuse citizens in war. It's a war crime.
So, well, how long did you stay in Iraq around that time?
Yeah, I stayed in Iraq and Kuwait for 1 year, 2003 to 2004.
All right, and that report right now, you never had a book. I mean, had it in a book form, right?
No, because a lot of people already wrote a lot of books, but they were not there. I was there. So they just took my report and they had 22 or 23 other investigations that similar to my conclusion that there were unlawful use of military force and contract people force on torturing and abusing Iraqi citizens. So they came to the same conclusion, and then many people wrote books about it, but I didn't. I don't have to write a book because I know what happened.
So is it a lengthy report?
No, I think you can still get it on if you Google it. It's 6,000 pages.
6,000. Wow.
Yeah, 6,000 pages. But what you will see on Google or maybe Wikipedia is about 50 pages of the executive summary.
Well, it will be nice to read that report on one of these days, and I'm really curious about that.
Yeah, it was a classified report, but it was classified secret. But somebody leaked it. I didn't leak it. Somebody leaked it, and they also leaked thousands of pictures of.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. There were some. The one I saw had between 300 to 500 pictures of rape, sodomy, torture, abuse, naked people that were not supposed to show on TV, but CBS was the one that presented it to the media, I think in April. Yeah, yeah. So that it was not it was a very unpleasant time for the United States and for President Bush and his administration because, we were there to liberate a country, but then it turned out that we were occupiers. And that's why we stayed for 10 years.
Wow, that has been a long time, and it is still considered a classified report?
No, because it was leaked, they declassified the report in it of itself is still classified, but the executive summary, 50 pages, I think, was not declassified. They circulated it, even though they declassified it as well. But the other contents are still classified.
I see. But now, okay, currently, you have been retired since when?
January 2007.
2007. Oh, that's been a long time. But currently, you're still very, very active, and you have two organizations that you are involved with. And can you please talk to us about that organization? The other one is Duty to Country, and the other one is Feel That Rep.
Right.
Duty to Country is more on educational side, and the Feel That Rep is advocacy work and the Filipino veterans of World War II. Correct?
Yes.
And wow, sounds really a big
no, actually,
undertaking of a retired person like you.
Well, when I retired, I went to work for a corporation, a multi-billion-dollar corporation, but for about 2 years. I didn't like it because that wasn't what I wanted to do when I retired. So the first group was we created a mentoring group with some of us retirees called Pan Pacific American Leaders and Mentors. Pan Pacific American Leaders and Mentors. And that's 13 years old now. We started that in 2007. And that was to help Asian Americans, Filipino Americans, and any officer or civilian in the federal government that were being discounted, and they needed an organization with mentors that will be able to advise them, to coach them, to help them with their professional development. So, and we're still doing that today. It's where we have members from Japan, Korea, in the United States, Brazil, Germany, and even we're global. And so we'd like doing that. We're a nonprofit group. We just charge them with a due to pay for our website, for our insurance and the like. We're really a true nonprofit because our budget is roughly $10,000 a year. But we are able to support our mentors and our mentees. The other one that we started with John Miligrito and part of NAFA and FANS, the Filipino American National Historical Society, was the Filipino Veterans Recognition and Education Project. That was inspired by the experience of our World War II veterans and their families, because they were wanting to be recognized or to receive their benefits. Because after World War II, Congress passed a law called the Rescission Act, which denied them their benefits and denied them their path to U.S. citizenship. My dad was part of that because he was a prisoner of war, but then a Philippine Scout. So we started that program to get them their recognition. And we assembled. It was a national call to action in 2013 to 2015. And then we went after Congress to pass a law that President Obama signed called the Filipino Veterans Congressional Gold Medal Act of 2015. It was signed into law in December 2016. And we've been making and this also involved the Philippines. So we had to do a collaboration and coordination. So we got that bill passed. And since in October 2017, House Speaker Ryan presented the medal to the Filipino veterans, Filipino and American veterans of World War II, and to their families. So it started with honoring 260,000, and we think there's less than 10,000 of them left. So we've been doing presentations. In fact, we do presentations in Chicago. Our regional director is Jelly Karendang. And we also have Consul General Jomoro Lin involved in those presentations. So it's a work of love, because we needed to honor our veterans and their families for what they did in defending our freedom and our way of life. Now, so we got the Congressional Gold Medal. So that's checked. That's a mission accomplished. The second mission for that was to develop an education program called Duty to Country, A Broken Promise, in which we just announced today. And we'll gladly send you an invitation for our other launch, which is November 6th, so you can see the totality of the project that we're doing. It encompasses 120 years of oppression and subjugation by the United States on Filipinos, to include our veterans. And it's in fact, Ferdinand saw it today, soft launch. Yeah, and it's well done. It was professionally done. We hired a professional education developer called Night Kitchen. And this is all paid for by donations, by sponsorships and the like, because we are a nonprofit group. Every penny we raise goes into that project. We don't get paid. In fact, when I go and present the medals, I use my own money to travel. And why do we do that? Because a promise was made to the veterans and several promises were broken. So duty to country is a way of educating America on what happened to them to this day. So it's a unique, one of a kind program. It's educational. We will post it on the website on November 6th, and you'll be able to see that product. And our interest is making sure our students know what happened in history.
Well, General, I salute you for all this really outstanding organizations that you have formed to serve the community. Did you found this organization, or you're just serving in the chairman of the board?
Well, when they say, when I recommended all three organizations, actually Duty to Country is part of PhilVet-Rep. So when I recommended, they always say, well, you're the general, you lead us. I said, no, I want somebody else to do that. But yeah, I was a co-founder of PPAM, the Pan Pacific American Leaders and Mentors. And I'm honored to say that I'm a co-founder, not the founder of PhilVet-Rep and Duty to Country. It takes, as you know, Veronica, it takes a lot of people to do a community action. And that's even hard because we needed to convince our volunteers, we're all volunteers, that there's a reason why we're doing that. For mentoring, we're trying to help grow leaders, not just us, but younger leaders, because I found out that Filipino Americans we're underrepresented in the military, in government, in science, and the like. And we're just like onesies and twosies because we have this thing called being a silent minority. Well, I learned when I was in the Army that you can't be silent. You got to tell people that, hey, I exist and I can do the same thing that you are doing and better. So that's our way of growing leaders. For PhilVet-Rep, we wanted our community to appreciate why we are here in the United States. What did we do? Like my dad and some of our loved ones, they fought a war and they were not granted citizenship. They were not granted, their benefits. But some of them actually came to the United States and became U.S. citizens and had children and grandchildren. But the grandchildren and to include myself, my grandkids, they need to know our origin. We just didn't come here and became immigrants. We had to fight for something to become U.S. citizens, right?
General, I really admire you and salute you for all the accomplishments you've done for the Filipino name, actually.
Oh, thank you.
And you still keep on working, serving the community.
Yeah,
The name,
we have to.
Right?
Yeah, we have to do that, Veronica. Otherwise, we will be silent. We cannot continue to be silent. We help our community, we help our children, our grandchildren, and they need to tell our story because they're the beneficiary of our heritage, And I tell my grandchildren, I have two twin granddaughters. They're 5 years old, and their mother, I married Puti. So my mother is white. My children are half and half, and the grandchildren are 1/4. But they call me Lolo.
Lolo.
I want that distinction and that connection. And when they ask me, Lolo, why are you brown?
Why are you
brown?
Why are you brown?
So I said, because I'm Filipino. And I said, well, my mom is white. I said, I know, but did you ask her she's part Filipino? Or you're part Filipino, even though you have brown hair and green eyes. You know, I want you to call me Lolo. I said, okay, we'll call you Lolo. And my kids, when I said, you know, you're a Taguba, so you're part of our heritage. And you need to tell that heritage to your friends, to your families, to the people that you marry, because we have a blended family. You have brother-in-laws that are Japanese, we have in-laws that are Mexican, you know, a very blended family. And we're very much part of America, like a lot of the Filipino Americans here. But we should not forget our heritage and our culture and the food we eat and the way we talk and the way we party and the way we help our community.
Right. Correct. Correct ka dyan, Major General Taguba. You speak some Filipino language, I could sense that.
Konti lang. Balutog na lang, because you know, I even forgot Ibanag and Ilocano, but I can still understand, especially the cuss words.
All right. Very good. One last word because we're running out of time.
Okay.
To our Filipino American community here in Chicago.
Well, you know, I've been to Chicago. I met a lot of folks there, and over time, and you have a lot of Filipino veterans as well. In fact, you still celebrate Bataan Day, Hour ng Kagitingan, and the bridge over there. But for our project, I'll speak about our duty to country. We would like our community, our entire community, all 4.2 million, to at least appreciate what the World War II and Filipino and American veterans and their families did for us. You know, there are 260,000 of them that were promised benefits, and they were very discounted. But that said, you know, let's be sure that we don't forget the origins of our families and to be able to contribute to the betterment of our society. For example, we don't have a lot of representation in Congress. Should we have representation in Congress? We have a few. TJ Cox, half Filipino from California. Gina Ortiz running for Congresswoman from Texas. And we have one little bitty guy, it's not little bitty, but Scott, Congressman Scott, who is 1/8 Filipino, and the rest of them is black. That's fine, but we need more representation in government. We need more representation in elected office. You know, we're being passed by Pakistani Americans, by South Asians, by Vietnamese, by Japanese, by Chinese. We have a say, not just in Chicago. We have a say in this country. And if we don't do our very best for our generation, we need to do a better way of growing leaders for the next generation and the next. Because unless somebody told me otherwise, we plan to be here for more than 100 years. We've been here over 122 now. But should we stay here another 122? We better, because we're staying. We're not going away.
Of course not. Well, are there any plans for you to run in a political position one of these days?
No. I'd rather have I have a lot more fun just generating interest and energy in the local community. That's much better. If I run for political office, oh goodness gracious, you know, I'm getting older. And in fact, I will be 70 years old tomorrow. And somebody once asked me, what is my shelf life? Somebody asked me that. What is my shelf life? Thank you. So I think for your son, for example, and anybody else, the millennial generation, Generation Y, X, Y, and Z, they have a better chance of running for office than the rest of us. Nobody's going to listen to an old man. they're going to listen to a younger person because they have a lot to offer. They have a younger heart, a younger mind. They've seen everything out there. They're technologically advanced. They're politically savvy. They know about the health and they know what their dreams are about in education. All they need to do is express that and lead.
You can always try. You might surprise yourself.
No, I'm supposed to be retired, Veronica, remember?
I think you are in the right position to really try a political position. I don't know. I think you'll be a good one. And
I will try to get them into office as much as I can, but it takes a community to do that, as you know. So
with your name and with your accomplishments, I don't know. I mark my word. You should try it. Okay, before we sign off,
yeah.
October is Chicago. No, it's Filipino American History Month.
Yes.
Can you
Yes.
can you greet our audience?
Sure.
Happy Filipino American History Month
Right.
from Major General Antonio Taguba.
Well, let me start by saying 2020 is our year. We have an election coming up, and I've said we have to vote to make it right. We cannot be a silent minority. We have to be a vocal minority. But we started about 100 and so much years. 1898, we had Kalayaan. We celebrated in 1998, and then we celebrated Sandaan in 2006. But we need to do something to create our future, so we have something to celebrate in 2026, which is our centennial year. From 2006 to 2026, right? And it kind of gives us an opportunity to tell the rest of the world that we have contributed to this country immensely, with blood, with wounds, with those still missing in action. And if we don't say that out loud, we'll just be an ordinary minority. We can't afford to be an ordinary minority because we've contributed already since we came to this country. So my message is that let's grow our leaders for the next century. Let's grow them leaders, because when we pass away, who is going to tell our story? Well, we'd be lucky if somebody tells our story. Who's going to document that? Who's going to chronicle that? Because we need to put the faces on there. I often see people that always say, a few that says, I did this and I did that. I'd rather we say, we did that and we're going to do this for the next century. So that's my message for us and for our 2020 Filipino American History Month, because we only celebrate this once a year. But we ought to be celebrating this 12 months of a year.
Terrific, beautiful message from Major General Antonio Taguba. And maraming salamat po for gracing our show, General. Happy birthday, happy Halloween, and happy Filipino American History Month.
Well, thank you, Veronica, for putting me on your show. I am so honored and humbled that you're willing to interview an old guy. But again, I'm happy to contribute to the success of your network. Thank you.
Maraming salamat po at maraming salamat po sa inyong panonood. Ako po si Veronica. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
It's more fun in the Philippines. Good day. This is Janet Jordy at Global Inspiration, where you need to be seen, need to be heard, and be an inspiration to the world. I am so excited to have our guest today because the way I would describe her, she's a person with a very big heart. Very few of them has a very big heart, a pure soul. And if you hear her name in Davao City, you would equate it to community service. She doesn't care if it's nothing as long as the people around her has something. She is a great example of you don't have to have designations, you don't have to have titles, you don't have to have millions to be an inspiration to the world. She advocates to reduce human trafficking, domestic abuse, for education, and also for the welfare of women. Ladies and gentlemen, let's all welcome Hope Militante Fernandez Mendoza. Good morning, Hope.
Good evening, Janet. Good morning there in America.
Yeah. So for our viewers, where are you in the Philippines?
I am currently based here at my hometown in Talomo proper, Davao City.
So are you married? Do you have kids?
Yeah, I am married for the third time.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, and I have 10 children. I became a widow twice, and I luckily got married for the third time.
That's good. Love is yeah. Love makes us happy. So
amen. Yes.
I am curious because I have known you. When I see you, I always know that you are there to help people. When we had this, when I talked to your group last year, I was amazed of how these women, the welfare of the women, they are so close. So you founded Hope Kababaihan. What does hope means?
Yes. Hope means humanitarian organization for peace engagements. Okay. I actually started that as a peace organization, as I have been a peace advocate for quite some time here in the Philippines. And then when our place was hit by a big flood, and then I had to stay home. And I saw all these women coming over needing help and all, and I decided, why not organize these women? I saw them feeling like looking so miserable, so helpless. Okay, I think it would be great if we could organize, band together and think of ways on how to develop and empower ourselves.
That's really good. That's a very good initiative on your part to be helping this group of women. So how many members do we have right now?
As of now, we already have 65 members.
65. Wow, that's a lot. 65 families. So, so the vision and mission of the organization is to help the women, this group of women in Talomo. So
women in my community, yes.
Yeah. So Hope Kababaihan is a big group there in Talomo.
Yeah.
So can you give me just maybe three of the major? So when was it created? Was it last year or 2 years ago?
Last year after the flood, August 28.
Oh my gosh. Only a year old. Only a year old.
Yes.
So can you share with us like 3 for 1 year, 2 or 3 major projects that I know I've seen your picture on Facebook. Oh my God, you've been doing left and right. Like, oh my gosh. Yeah. So can you mention like 2 or 3 projects that the group has done?
August, we were able to organize officially. September 1, we were able to organize, and I had it registered at the Department of Labor and Employment because we wanted it to be a livelihood group.
Correct.
That's what we need then. Then October we were hit by the earthquake. Remember last year?
Yes.
So we decided to band together again and gather what we had, and we joined Ateneo to go to one of the badly hit places in Davao del Sur. We went to Magsaysay, Davao del Sur, and join in the medical and dental mission humanitarian works of the Mindanao Peace Council, to get spearheaded by Ateneo then.
Oh, okay. That's good that you have health and dental missions. Our viewers, my friends, and your friends, when they hear about Hope Kababaihan, they're thinking, how could I help this group? How could I give them donation? Is there a bank account? Is there a PayPal? Is there a Venmo that I could use? So, you know, $10 or $20 makes a lot of difference.
Wow. Yes,
exactly.
yes, yes.
So is there a bank? Can you share with us?
We do have a bank account for now, which is what we registered at the BIR.
Okay.
Yeah, it's at Bank of the Philippine Islands. We had it. We were using it because it's an old ATM account that I have, but I never use it anymore. So we use that old ATM that I had.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So if they have some questions, do you have an email address that they can send it to? Who they need to contact?
Yes. We have, we have the Hope.Kababaihan group mail, the link, and the contact person there is our secretary, Lucille Villahermosa, because I believe that each and every person has that great potential. You know, it's a matter of unearthing it, you know. So group, every one of them was kind of, I'm confident.
Yes.
You know,
I like that. I like when they...
all of them, yeah.
I like when they were crying. It means that the speech is effective and they tend to believe in themselves. Because I totally believe, Hope, that you don't have to be extraordinary. You don't have to have designations. You don't have to have titles. You don't have to have millions to be an inspiration to the world. And you are an example, the great example.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you.
So I know you are doing a lot of work left and right. You're all over the town. Do you have, and then you have kids and, you know, women. So what do you do during your spare time? Do you cook? Do you garden? Do you...
Gardening! Gardening!
Oh, gardening. You love gardening. I love gardening too.
Gardening. Yeah, it's gardening. I love your flowers.
Oh, thank you. It's a therapy for me. For me, if I feel so stressed, I talk to my flowers. I am so sorry. I talk to my flowers. They are my babies. I take care of them as my babies. This is a question that is not found on the list that I gave you about COVID.
Okay.
How does COVID affected your group?
Well, at first there was, of course, fear. So for 14 days we took care of them. I asked for donations, face masks, whatever we can get for the family of 13 families inside. Everyone was fine, you know, and they're all back, you know, doing their normal thing. So that was the scariest part because they just lived near us.
They are under investigation. This is
exactly.
This is one thing, great thing that I love about you, Hope. You have the initiative to lead the people, and they follow you because you are very strong. Again, you don't have all this. I am great. I am extraordinary doing this. You are so humble. You're so humble. But when you hear your name, you're like Mother Teresa in Talomo. You know, you are.
Amen.
People are going to your group because of your attitude. So your story is very inspiring, Hope, and
amen. Yes.
Can you share with the viewers, with your friends and my friends and the public, any inspirational thought? I know you have so many, but can you give us few of those inspirational thoughts?
For me, it's inspirational thought is first. I've been holding on to this is let go and let God.
Correct.
That one really gives me the strength to go on. Let go and let God, and believing in the saying that the Lord is my shepherd.
That is so simple phrase, but it is so powerful. The interview. I thank you, Hope, for the interview.
Thank you.
We're having today, and I hope there will be part 2 and part 3 because the viewers wants to know you more. We need to know you more because we need more people like you. Again,
Amen.
Thank you very much. Hope you want to say something to the viewers.
Believe in what you want to do. You believe that you could do it, then just go ahead and do it.
Exactly. Regardless of the cons, always think of the
Yes.
Yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again very much. Hope Militante Fernandez Mendoza. This is again Jeanette Jordy at Global Inspiration. When you need to be seen, need to be heard, and be an inspiration to the world. Thank you and good day.
We would like to welcome all of you to Baladna Jewelry. We have a very big selection of 21 karat gold jewelry imported from the Middle East, from Dubai, Saudi, and Bahrain. And we have a very big selection of diamond. We offer free financing for 6 months, and we have a layaway system which you can leave your stuff for 3 months. We repair gold and we buy old gold. Welcome to Baladna Jewelry.
Salamat po! Good afternoon everyone and welcome to Philippine Reports TV News. Ako po si Joe Mauricio. Our headline, the Philippine Embassy and the Consulate General in the United States are accurately taking steps to meet the surge in demand for dual citizenship, passports, visa services, and prevailing uncertainties arising from this COVID-19 pandemic. Depending on the local condition and state's restriction on each post, these steps may include increasing the number of appointment slots, operating in weekends, and assignment more personnel to the process applications and answer phones, emails, and social media queries, among other measures. The adjustments are being made in coordination with the Department of Foreign Affairs as pandemic-related restrictions and stringent health requirements, both in the Philippines and the United States, to continue to put pressures on post-consular operations. The record-breaking GDP growth in Q3 proves President Trump's pro-growth policies are helping our countries bounce back quickly from the devastating effect of COVID-19. The Great American Comeback is alive and thriving, and the best is yet to come, according to Media Affairs APA headlines of the Great American Comeback. For context, the 31.1% GDP growth in the third quarter is doubled the post-World War II record of 16.7% in Q1 of 1950. The economy has recovered about two-thirds of its coronavirus losses. 11,417,000 jobs has been added back in just 5 months. President Trump wants the Great American Comeback to continue, while Joe Biden wants to keep America shut down. And while President Trump has delivered tax cuts in the middle class, with Asian Pacific Americans being the largest beneficiaries of tax cut and jobs, Biden would raise taxes in the middle class. After all, Biden has promised, if you elected me, your taxes are going to raise, not cut. And finally, Secretary of State Jesse White is reminding the public that expirations for license plate stickers are set to end November 1st, 2020. License plate stickers can easily be renewed online at www.cyberdriveillinois.com. Driver's license and ID cards remain extended until February 1st, 2021. I encourage the public to renew their license plate stickers online at www.cyberdriveillinois.com from the comfort of your home, White said. Online renewals for license plate stickers rocketed since June 1st, and if you pay with e-check, the payment processing fee is waived to the end of the year. To register, drivers will need their vehicle registration card or pass renewal notice containing their registration ID and PIN number. Vehicle owners do not have a renewal notice or current registration card they should call the Public Inquiry Division at 800-252-8980. After obtaining the registration ID and PIN numbers, they can visit www.cyberdriveillinois.com. And ako po si John Mauricio. Thank you for sharing your Sunday with us, and I hope to see you again next week.
Okay, ready guys? Introducing our new Energy Star certified washer and dryer. Thanks to rebates from ComEd.
Yay! We love rebates!
Ay, Daniel, we are famous.
Get used to it. When you use less water and electricity, people notice.
I can get used to that.
So can I.
Take it easy.
Get rebates from ComEd on select Energy Star certified appliances and find even more savings with the ComEd Energy Efficiency Program. ComEd, powering lives.
Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. This is Melody Dizon, your Health Matters host. And as promised from last week, I was gonna finish the installment on election 2020. So though we are not endorsing any representative, we just wanted to let you know which side and what do they stand for and what they believe in, so you know. You are aware that when voting come times, which is November 3rd, coming up, if you haven't already, you would know who to choose. So they had said that never been before had health topics been so prominent in a presidential election. And even if you're not really sure about who you're going to choose, at this point in time, it looks like there has been a lot of questions about healthcare issues, and it's still at the forefront of voters' concerns as they have been all year. So, drug prices, let's see where both stands. Well, Trump and Biden share more common ground when it comes to drug prices than on other issues. Both candidates support the idea that Americans shouldn't pay more for their prescription drugs than typical prices on the international market. So where does Trump stand? Well, President Trump capped monthly insulin costs for some Medicare Part D enrollees and has signed legislation that accelerated the phase out of the Medicare Part D donut hole, or the gap in coverage some users have if they've already spent a certain amount of drugs. If you don't know what a donut hole is, it's when insurance stop paying your medications because they have spent so much for you, and then they restart again the new budget for you. It just kind of helps out the cost of, it's a big thing when you have a lot of chronic conditions and you have to pay for all these medications. So he banned the gag clauses that prohibited pharmacists from telling customers if they could pay less for their prescriptions, and he finalized 2 pathways to allow prescription medications imported from abroad. So where does Biden stand? Well, Biden wants to authorize the federal government to negotiate drug prices for Medicare and other purchasers, and to prohibit prices for all brand and some generic drugs from rising faster than inflation under Medicare and the public option. He wants to limit launch prices for new specialty drugs for Medicare and the public option, and to cap out-of-pocket drug costs in Medicare Part D. The big difference in their strategy is that candidate Biden wants to provide Medicare and Medicaid the ability to negotiate drug prices, and Trump has not told them that. Medicare, as we all know, is a federal health insurance program for people who are 65 and over, or for some younger people with disabilities. So where does Trump stand on Medicare? Well, Trump has broadened Medicare coverage for telehealth, meaning you've been seeing your physicians through the computer during the COVID-19 pandemic, and offered funds for healthcare providers, and we were very thankful for this. He also expanded Medicare Advantage supplemental benefits. Medicare Advantage is health insurance offered by a private company approved by Medicare. He's also proposed changes that would reduce Medicare spending by about $450 billion over 10 years. Trump has said he wants to eliminate payroll taxes, that part of your paycheck that's deducted to pay for social programs like Social Security and Medicare. He would like to defer them now, and if he's reelected, to permanently waive those taxes. And basically, that is the source of our funding for Medicare. So where does Biden stand in all this? Biden, on the other hand, wants to make more people eligible for Medicare, lowering the age of eligibility of 60 with an option for people ages 60 to 64 to keep their current coverage. And he wants to expand coverage by adding hearing, vision, dental benefits to Medicare, because right now, currently, if you do have traditional Medicare, you don't have those. You would basically have to get a secondary insurance to pay for those. And Biden also wants to lower drug prices by giving the government authority to negotiate drug prices with pharmaceutical companies.
And finally, we come to the portion of the show that everybody is waiting for. Wishing everybody happy birthday, especially to the following people: Tita Angie, Jacala, the relative of Veronica Layton, and my relatives. Wishing also Nelia Ladlad, Philibing Coy, and Ludi Bustamante. Again, happy birthday. Hope you had a fun Halloween. Today, November 1st, we celebrate All Saints Day and All Souls Day. Enjoy, everyone. Don't forget the polls on November 3rd to vote and exercise your right to vote. Again, this is Joe Mauritius wishing everybody a happy Halloween. Thank you po for watching.